Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is basically various topics dated May 11th, 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. And pretty much this is, I really don't have anything specifically to go into, but I was listening to Elder Pastor's video, which he was premiering, and he was speaking on a video that the young elder Karatazar from the Vegas camp was doing, based off of the Roman Catholic Church and the great deception that's coming. And towards the end of the video, I believe it was, he was speaking on Ephesians, the 6th chapter, and he said a brother had done a video on it that was dealing with, that was speaking about the Illuminati. Now, I'm not sure what video the apostle was speaking about in particular. I know I've done videos on it a few times, in the past. I know recently, Saturday, the Bishop Nathaniel went into it speaking about it. Now, I don't know if it's something they ran across and figured it out, or if they watched, one of the brothers' videos, myself or whatever, and kind of just jumped on the bandwagon. I don't know how that came about, but I know I've done several videos on this going back years, even back during the time, I believe, of when we were on Daily Motion, but nevertheless, I'm going to highlight that in this video. Salaki, let me get rid of this because I just saw something I didn't like, but nevertheless, nevertheless, we're going to go into it, hit that precept, hit a couple of precepts and see where the Spirit leads us. And hopefully it will be an edifying lesson. So let's get into the main scripture first, because, you brothers that have been studying, a few sisters that have been studying and listening, and understand that there are forces out here working against us, fighting against us. Every step of the way of the knowledge, there's someone that's always there to try to get in the way of it, interfere. The Apostle Paul mentioned about Alexander the coppersmith that did him much evil. He said he greatly withstood our words. So that's nothing new. There were many that withstood the words of Yahushua and the doctrine of Yahushua. They even called it Yahushua's doctrine, just like they call it our doctrine, which is not our doctrine. It's Yahweh Bashem Yahushua's doctrine. But nevertheless, you have those individuals out there. Now, I remember years ago on 86 and 3rd, Apostle Gabar told me about it. Apostle Rakah told me about it. And I believe it was just the two of them that were there that particular day, because Apostle Tar would go and pick up supplies, while the brothers were out there teaching. They were also teaching, selling oils and incense and different things on the oil table, and they were also teaching. And Apostle Tar would go down and pick up supplies, to refill certain things that were low, so on and so forth. Maybe pick up some new stuff, that some new smells and stuff like that, right? And the Apostle Gabar said that this individual rolled up this Edomite to him and Apostle Rakah, and he told him, he said, there's spirits, entities out here that are stopping you from making money. And they both said, yeah, we know. And then he said he just walked away. So pretty much it's a witch, and that's what they do. They put up spells. But you have to understand that the hierarchy of these demons are, principalities, which we're going to read about. And those are a hierarchy of demons that work directly for Satan, and Satan works directly for the Most High. So everybody works for the big man, for the Most High, Yahweh. And you have a priesthood on the planet of Esau today, because other nations also have their priesthood. The Roman Catholic Church is a priesthood. This is the false prophet in the scriptures. And you have many Roman Catholic Church and many archdioceses and archbishops and cardinals and all that are all throughout America. All right? And they are part of the ones that cast spells You know, they'll be like, well, no, those are holy, righteous men. No, they're not. Stop it. Those are demons, devils, pedio to the philicus, and many other things. And they constantly casting spells. But you have also the higher ups, which, we know as the Illuminati. They're known as the international bankers and many other different names, which are the ones that are in control of watching over this stuff and making sure they set up the right person for the right, job, so to speak. Now you had a defector or detractor, however you say the word, by the name of John Todd, that was a part of, the Illuminati, that was a part of what they call the Council of 13, which were the 13 top witches that cast spells upon people. They were set up directly and specifically by the international bankers. I believe it was the Rothschilds that set them up, and or the Rockefellers, one of the two, same shit. And they were responsible for casting spells on the people, but they were hired by the higher ups. And this is why it's important to stay firm in the truth of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, these words, the brotherhood, so on and so forth, because, these are the things that are going to protect us in these days, beginning with the names of Yahweh and his son Yahushai. So getting into it, Ephesians 6:10, it says, finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Right, because the only thing that we have as a protection is Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. When these devils come through, as madmen sparing none, with their different agendas, their different military groups, so on and so forth, to push for the final New World Order, we're going to need a higher power to protect us. We're going to need what they call divine intervention. And that's why we stay upon these things, because Yahweh said, because you kept the word of my patience, I also will keep you from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them. So it says, put on the whole armor of the Most High. What is the whole armor of the Most High? The Bible, the truth, and the proper doctrine. Because remember, this Bible could either be for someone's welfare or it could be for someone's detriment, destruction, trap. It says that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil, which are what? The tricks. And that's why Yahweh mentioned that. He said, if it were possible, they would deceive the very elect. Why? Because they're going to show great signs and wonders. And the young elder Karatazar was going into some of those miracles that they have. Now you have these things where, I forget exactly what they're called, but there could be a person speaking, and they could take that person and make them say something else that they never even said. So this is all a part of their technology. They have what they call Project Bluebeam, where they can portray certain images in the heavens, which they plan on faking the second coming of the Lord, and put a picture of Caesar up there, and claim it to be the Lord. They also mean to put, from what the report said, different world leaders, and different religions up there, and then finish it off. I think it was with Maitreya, somebody called Maitreya. There was an individual by the name of Benjamin Creme, I believe it was. He was a big proponent of Maitreya, which they call the so-called false prophet or antichrist, which is many antichrists. But they have a whole system that's in place and that they're putting in place for the future of this world, because they want a future that's comfortable to them. They're not concerned with the comfort of anybody else. They want a future that's comfortable for them. This is why they're pushing these lifestyles, and not of the rich and famous. These lifestyles of this perverted monk madness that's going on out here, and these are all a part of the wiles or the tricks of the devil. It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Right, so it's not a flesh and blood battle. Even though you do have individuals on the planet that are of flesh and blood, but they're pretty much sickened spirits and demons and apparitions, on the men of the Lord, on the Israelites in general. And this is why we need Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It says, but against principalities. When you look up this word principalities, it's a hierarchy of demons. You have the right hand angels and you have the left hand angels. Among the left hand angels, you have a hierarchy. You have Satan and you have the top demons on the left hand side of the Most High. And that's what we're battling against. That's why they'll come in our thoughts. They'll jump on people. AI face recognition. The water, brother. They'll jump on people. They'll jump on your woman. They'll jump on your moms. They'll jump on your children. They'll jump on your boss or co-workers at the job. They'll jump on people when you go to the whether you go to the liquor store or you go to the supermarket. They'll jump on these people and make them do certain shit to get up under your skin. And then if you notice after the whole shit clears and people ask the individual, why did you do it? They'll say they don't know. Why? Because at that point, them demons left them. There's a story the Elder Apostle Gabar speaks about with this guy, I believe it was Ted Bundy. And he said when the police came to get him, he let out this big, eerie cry. And pretty much what that was the demons that was on him, leaving him. So that's what we're battling against. It's against powers. Then this is the point here, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Now when we look up this word rulers, right? The word for rulers is the Greek word cosmokrator. Cosmokrator is a compound word. Cosmo is world, organization, and krator is rule or ruler. So world rulers, that's who are in charge of this earth. I thought I had just bear with me 1 second. Just had a scripture in mind. Cosmokrator, which are the rulers of this world, the so-called Illuminati. I wish I would have just grabbed that other precept. Let me see if it'll come back. Oh, Barakateh Hawab Hashem Yahushai. It's one of the basics. Let's go to Job chapter 9 and verse 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So all one has to do is do what? Look on the earth and find out who's in charge of the planet. Whose policies are they following? Whose language are they following? So on and so forth. And if you're being honest, you will have to say the so-called white man, which are the Edomites, not a bunch of so-called black men with red hair. All right. So the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So if the wicked are ruling, that means that they will be doing wicked things. And one of the wicked things they do, it says he covered the faces of the judges thereof. Who are the judges? Well, beginning with the Most High. He's the top judge, Yahweh. You have Yahushai as another judge. You have the angels. You have the Israelites. And through the Renaissance period, they've changed that. They put their faces up. You type in God or you type in Jesus, what's going to come up? So-called white-looking people. You type in the Sistine, which is painted either by Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo, one of those two moles, and you're gonna see what? Pictures of what they claim to be the Most High in a pink tutu, and Adam bucket naked, and they touching finger, one finger to finger, some immoral madness. So they're the ones that are controlling the earth, and they're the ones that are pushing that energy upon the earth. And the main ones that are running it are the international banking families, which are also known as the Illuminati. The word Illuminati means enlightened ones or light bearers, which also goes with another scripture in the book of Isaiah, which is where we're going to get to that. It says he covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So if these Edomites, these so-called white people, are not the wicked, who and where is he? Who did these things and where are they? Because we know it wasn't the Hamites, we know it wasn't the Ishmaelites, we know it wasn't the Elamites, we know it wasn't Jake. Why? Because the images that we see and the policies that are being followed are Esau's policies, not anyone else, not any other nation. So that's how we know who the wicked are. You know, that's called process of elimination. All right. Now, going back to Cosmocrator, Lord of the world, Prince of this age. And this is why Yahweh Shai said, I saw Satan as lightning fall from heaven. The prince of this world cometh and hath nothing in me. Meaning the control of the wicked world that was ruling at the time of Yahweh Shai, which is, you know, here now, had no power over him. Why? Because the Most High separated him unto himself, just like he separated the elect. All right. So going back, it says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers." Right. So we're dealing with different spirits, right? And then it says against the rulers of the darkness of this world, because they're the ones that are calling the shots, as far as, you know, doing incantations, spells, whatever the case may be, to try to stop this truth. Just something as simple as that one individual that walked up to the apostles, you know, years ago in the 90s on 83rd and 86 and 3rd, and told them, you know, there are forces out here that are keeping you from making money. And they told him, yeah, we know. Because that's Esau's power on the left-hand side. You know, pushing, you know, them spirits to stop or try to stop the men of the Lord from working. But you're not going to stop. You may hinder. You know, like Apostle Paul said, you know, I meant to come to you sooner, but Satan hindered us. You know, so you're going to have that. You know, you're going to have, you know, inconveniences, you know, different things that are going to be happening, you know, to try to stop this word, you know, to the point where it gets so bad sometimes, you know, where it's almost, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Disheartening, you know, like you just want to say, fuck it, you know, but somehow, some way, through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the Lord makes a way for you to get through that situation and to have the internal energy and drive and fight to just do it anyway, see it through, you know. It says of the rulers of the darkness of this world against spiritual wickedness in high places. And that's what they do. They control those demons on the left hand side because the Most High gave them that control, you know, to a certain degree, because it's the Most High ultimately that controls everything, you know. So that's what we're battling and fighting, you know, and that's why these international bankers wanted control of the world's money, wanted control of the world, you know, the world's governments. And that's why when you look at these different governments, the main ones that are controlling and running those policies are, you know, the ones that have these banking interests, the international bankers, because they buy into these different, you know, senators and different congressmen, so on and so forth, so that these congressmen, they'll give them exorbitant amount of money so that they can rule in the favor of their companies. You see? That's why Maya Shabara said that, give me control of a nation's money and I care not who makes the laws. Now when we go to Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 12, it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? And people are, especially in the Christian church, they're under the impression that this is talking about the spiritual demon Satan. The spiritual demon Satan has nothing to do with Lucifer, except for Lucifer pretty much works for Satan, if you want to say it like that. Because Lucifer, which means light bearer, let's go to it. You have the Hebrew word and the Greek word. And this is why it's important to understand words. And when you understand words, it takes away the mysticism, you know, that mystery. Hayalal. It means light bearer, carriers of the light, Illuminati. Get it? shining one, morning star, Lucifer. Then here it says of the king of Babylon and Satan. It's not talking about Satan unless it's talking about Satan as far as being Esau. Because the word Satan from the Hebrew word shaitan means adversary. And Esau is the one that opposes everything that the Most High has established on the planet Earth. That's why you see the direction going, the world going in the direction that it's going in, which is totally satanic. But the people that are ruling it are claiming to be the chosen of the Most High. So what is it? If you were the chosen of the Most High, people would be flocking to you to learn about the Most High. People would be rejoicing. People would be, in awe and happy. Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. Yeah. Because one thing about the nations, even though they know they're going to get their ass whooped, they can't wait for us, the Israelites, to get back in power. And that's what they're waiting for. Because although they know they're going to be in captivity, they know that they're going to get a fair shake. Romans 8:20. For the creature, Romans 8:19. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of the Most High. See? So they're waiting for the sons of the Most High to be established. Because this world is run by wickedness. That's why, this world has to go down in order for the new world to be established, which is run in righteousness. This is why we hasten the day. As the Apostle Peter said, hasten in the day. Having that upright conversation, speaking about these things. Whether you're speaking about them in hymns, whether you're speaking about it, in conversations you have with brothers, whether you're speaking about it when you're doing these lessons. It's a constant reminder of the truth, a constant reminder of this gospel and this doctrine that we're teaching that's being attacked on all sides. But that's good because this lets us know that the message that we give is a threat. Because if the message that we gave wasn't a threat, then there would be something wrong. Because why is it that you have so many individuals out there coming against the truth? If this was just some farce, some bugged out doctrine, as everyone claims it to be. So going back to Proverbs 28:9, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, meaning they have the rulership, the rulers of the darkness of this world, the people mourn. So are the people of the world rejoicing for as a whole, or are they mourning as a whole? And if you are not an a-hole, you would agree that the majority of the planet, or the people on the planet Earth, are mourning. So if that's the case, that means the wicked are in power. The word there for rule, beareth rule, mashal, to rule, have dominion, reign. So they're the ones that have the dominion. They're the ones that are ruling. They are the cosmocrator, or the world rulers. And their policies are being pushed on the planet Earth. Because the earth is given into their hand right now, and they have a certain portion of time to rule. But that is coming shortly to an end. And we see it falling apart. Every day, we see it falling apart. And that's why every chance brothers get, beginning with Elder Apostle Tahar on down, any little hint of any article or any technology that comes out dealing with the MOTB, brothers jump on it right away and bring it out, because those are more receipts stacked up on the sky high amount of receipts that are already out there. So let me get a little bit of this water. All right. It says to rule, have dominion. So you get the idea. Exercise dominion. Right, so they're exercising dominion on the planet. So those that are ruling right now are the wicked. And the people are mourning. So when we go back to Lucifer, it means light bearer. All right, the morning star. And they applied that term Lucifer to Venus. Now when you go to the Greek of that word Lucifer, the word there is Where is it? Right here. Iosforos. Iosforos. Iosforos means light bearer. Ios or phos is light, and photos is to carry. Light carrier. Iosforos, light carry, light bearer. Illuminati, illuminated ones. All right? So that's who's running this world. And to prove it even further that this is not talking about the spiritual demon Satan, when we jump to the 16th verse, it says, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble and that did shake kingdoms? So who's that? That's Esau. Because the ancient Babylonians, ancient Assyrians, they didn't do that. They didn't make the earth to tremble. These devils made the earth to tremble. Let's go real quick to Revelation chapter 13. And this is after America was established as their new beast, or the revival of the ancient Roman Empire, who exercised all the power of the first beast. And here, Revelation 13:13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And what did that do? That shook these kingdoms. So much so that people were scared and nervous. And that was just an atomic bomb, I believe it was. And after that, they never used any. They don't even know what the outcome would be of using these nuclear missiles. This is why Einstein said that. I don't know which weapons World War III would be fought with, but World War IV would be fought with sticks and stones. Because he understood that technology that they had with the atomic bomb, the hydrogen bomb, in the nuclear age, he knew that was going to bring an end to all these wars. You know, it was going to go back to them ancient times where you fought with sticks and stones and spears and things of that nature. And when this happens, and it will, there will be no more wars ever fought again. Once Yahushua comes back and makes easy work of Esau and the other nations and their militaries, there's going to be no more wars. And this is another reason that we know that the small hats are not the people of the Most High, because there's still wars brewing all over the planet, and they're the main ones pushing it. So going back to Isaiah 14, let's go up. Let's read this again. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Meaning, how are you falling from your great state, from this great rulership position that you were in? You fell from that. That's why Yahushua said, I seen Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Because they came out of, because Yahushua is coming back to literally knock them out of the skies. Their planes, their drones, their missiles, their helicopters, and whatever other flying contraption they have out there. And never ever will they ever go up into the heavens ever again, unless you punt them up there. O Lucifer, which is dawn bearer, light bearer, Illuminati, son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? And this is what these devils are doing. They are weakening the nations on all levels. That's why they go into people's lands, and what do? They can never have enough. And they deplete the people of their resources. And if the people refuse to sell, or if the people refuse to comply, they'll make some bullshit up, and do some type of false flag to where the makes the people look bad, and makes the people look like they were guilty of this action, so that they can justify themselves going in there and starting a war with them, so that they could take their resources that they wanted from the first place, and make the people of those lands, of these rich resource lands, which there should be no poor people in these lands. There should be no people that go hungry. There should be no people that starve. There should be no such thing as starvation, because of the amount of resources and rich minerals and things that are in these different lands. These devils deplete them of all of that. And the natives of those lands are what? Destitute. I don't know about you, but that don't seem like a righteous ruler to me. It says, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. Did not they ascend into heaven? They went up there with, with their planes, space shuttles, helicopters, drones, hang gliders, all kind of stuff that they've done when they're up there flying. It says, I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High, and they did, through their satellites. That's why when Yahweh Shai comes back, that's one of the things he's going to bring down. Their satellites, these different space stations, everything they got up there in orbit. And as he keeps coming closer and closer, that's when, as World War III is brewing with these nations and their fighter jets, he gonna come bust their ass up. He gonna bust them up real nice. I will also sit upon the mount of the congregation. What is the mount of the congregation? The Israelites in the sides of the north, here in North America. Because this is the main focus on the planet, is North America. This side of the world, the Western Hemisphere, but mainly America. Why do you think all of these migrants are coming to America? Why do you think there's so many nations here, so many Israelites here? Because this is the main hub, so to speak, where the Lord is going to deliver his people from. He's going to deliver them from the four corners of the earth, but this is the main star of the show, so to speak. And that's what we see happen. It says, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, and they have done that. I will be like the Most High. That's why they put their satellites in orbit, satellites on the earth. They have cameras all over the place. They want to micro CHIP everybody, which is the MOTB, because they want to keep track of everybody just like the Most High keeps track of everybody. He knows everybody, everything, their thoughts, their weaknesses, everything about them. And that's what these devils want. They want total control over people. Total control over their subjects. And that's what the micro CHIP is all about. And you have these leaders, these false prophets, that keep fighting against it, even though it's evident. Some of them are not even talking about it anymore. But some of them are fighting valiantly to try to save face. They might throw a micro CHIP in there, but that's not the MOTB. It says, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, meaning to the grave, to the sides of the pit, because you're going to be in pits. And the first receivers of slavery is going to be you international bankers. Let's go to Isaiah 24. That's why the scriptures are so beautiful, man. Everything is laid out in spades there. Everything is laid out. After the destruction, that's when the gathering of the slaves is gonna happen. And the main ones, the first crop of slaves, are gonna be the super rich, which are the rulers of this planet, the ones that are pushing the policies, beginning with the Edomites all the way down to all the other nations. Isaiah 24 and 21, and it shall come to pass in that day, this is after the destruction. You can read up above it from the 18th verse, actually from the first verse down, and it shows you blow by blow the breakdown of the society of America. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high. So who are the high ones that are on high? That's the international bankers. You can get no higher than them. They're trillionaires, multi-trillionaires. Liquid, they have more than heart could wish. That don't fit Jake. That don't fit anybody else. You talking about billionaires? Come on, man. Billionaires is, is poppycock. It's bollocks in comparison to trillions. Having everything, not having no need for anything. You couldn't possibly spend all that money in your lifetime. Talking about generational wealth after generational wealth after generational wealth. You thinking in dollars. These devils are thinking in assets. They're thinking in commodities. They're thinking in resources, liquid, land, cattle, substance, things of substance, things of intricate value, intrinsic value, Salakia. You talking about some goddamn paper dollars. It says, and the kings of the earth upon the earth, right, because the Lord is coming to punish all of the hosts of the high ones. Because Esau has the top rulers, but then you also have the other nations which have top rulers on the planet that are super rich, that are in bed with these international banking families. You see, that are nothing more than pawns, for the international bankers. It says, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited. Right, because those shelters are going to be their prison, which they think is they're going to be doing good, which they are, until that door comes being kicked in, and then the Israelites are coming. Then they're going to grab these devils up, and we're going to put them in chains. They're going to be tattered, and their first job is going to be, one crop is going to go forward and put signs up where all these different dead bodies are, and the next crop is going to come through digging graves and mass graves and putting these dead bodies in there. They're going to go from riches to rags. It says the moon shall be confounded and the sun ashamed. Right, that's dealing with their knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of wickedness. Is going to be confounded, ashamed. When the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem and before his ancients gloriously. Right, because Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to be exalted, and the Israelites are going to be exalted as the people of the Most High. And the Lord is going to make it known. See, people know that. A lot of people around the world know that those small hats are not the people. And even their top leaders know that they're not the people. You see? It's just the grassroots of them that think that they are. Now, you do have some among them that are jakes, but for the most part, they're not. But the ones in the grassroots think that they are. That's why they'll be the ones that fight you. Fight you verbally or whatever the case may be. Pull that anti-Sem card so that you can't say anything about them. Because they know that they're guilty. Like that white supremacist said, I forget his name. He said, to find out who you can't, to find out who's ruling, find out who you can't speak against, and you'll find out that it's them small hats. Anytime you talk about them small hats, they start pulling out cards and start pulling out the anti-Sem, and then this, that, and the other. They're passing legislation, so if you say something about them, you get locked up. Over in France, if you deny the H to the hollow to the cause, they arrest you. You can't speak about certain things because they are in rulership. But yet people jump up and say, no, it's not true. It's not a J to the W to the ish. Conspiracy of rulers of the planet. It's others. Well, look, these devils and changed their names to sound like more American names or more German names or more English names or whatever the case may be, so that they can, assimilate into that society. But one thing you can't assimilate is that big sausage nose you got. You can't assimilate that quaz schnoz. Salaka. Well, that's good, brother. Be all ears. Listen. Take notes. Write these scriptures down and learn. Because you can't learn if your mouth is running. So it's good that you said that. I'm new here, but I'm all ears. Beautiful. Yeah, so these international banks. Matter of fact, I'll close it out with this one last one here in the book of Psalms. The 149th chapter, because everything is spoken about in the scriptures. And these devils, these bomb shelters that they have, those bomb shelters are even spoken of in the scriptures. But let's get this, Psalms 149:5. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Well, who are the saints? The Israelites. You can go to the previous chapter and it'll tell you that the saints are the Israelites. What is the glory? The glory is the kingdom of heaven. So the saints or the Israelites are going to be joyful in the kingdom of heaven. Let them sing aloud upon their beds, because when we get up in the morning, we're not going to have to worry about, oh shit, I'm late for work, or I got to go to work, or I got to go slave, or I got to make sure I make this amount of money so I can pay this bill. You ain't going to have to worry about none of that shit. Let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, which is the Bible, and a two-edged sword in their hand, which is an actual instrument, an actual weapon. And what is it going to be used for? To execute vengeance upon the heathen, the other nations, and punishments upon the people. Because you got to remember that out of all the people on the planet Earth, the earth And the people of the earth have not suffered like we've suffered. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. No one has suffered like we've suffered. You know? Just going back to the late 1400s up until the present, look at all the shit that we dealt with. And prior to that, history that Jake doesn't even know about, history that they may hear about and not know that that was them. So there's a lot that's going on in the world, you know, from going all the way back into the ancient times to the present, of a lot of shit that our people suffered. And these nations, they're going to pay for that. And it says to bind their kings with chains. Their kings are what? Their top rulers, their top, you know, banking families. And they're going to be in what? Chains. What does that mean? They're going to be slaves. Just like they had slaves, they're going to be slaves. To bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. These are chains and shackles that's going to be put on Esau, the so-called white man, the other nations that had our people in captivity. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, you know, all throughout the world. To execute upon them the judgment written. This is the judgment that's written. Then it says, this honor have all his saints. Praise you the Lord. Praise you Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that we have that honor. And that's what we're waiting for. You see, these nations, you know, these wacky-tacky Christians, they'll try to tell you that the kingdom of heaven is going to be for everybody. No, man. Kingdom of heaven is going to be for the Israelites. You other nations, you're going to be in captivity. Revelation 2:26, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, this is Yahushai speaking, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, to him will I give power over the nations. And it means just that, power over these nations. And he shall rule them, meaning govern over them, with a what? With a rod of iron. And what is that rod of iron for? To break them apart if they get out of line. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father, because we're joint heirs with Yahushai. So we're gonna get the same thing he got. He's waiting on the side of the Father, on the right side, until his enemies be made his footstool. That's what he's waiting for. And that's what we're waiting for. Because once Yahushai rules, then we're gonna be joint rulers with him. And that's why this kingdom can't fall fast enough. And once they push the MOTB, which is the MARK of the beast, which is the micro C hip, put the C and the hip together, you'll get it. Once they push that heavy on the earth, upon the people of the planet, then we know we're closer to the end. Then things will start moving lightning fast. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. Till the next time I say, Shalom.